Hello everyone, this is Boiler and I welcome you to another Starfield video. So a few days ago, Bethesda finally released some more information on the game in form of a video titled Constellation Questions Talking Starfield with Todd Howard, in which Jess Finster, the community director of Bethesda, asks Todd some community questions about the game. Now, the video is nothing to write home about. It's just under 5 minutes long, and they don't really reveal that much in addition to what we already knew. It's a few nice infos about the game, but it's nothing insane or crazy or amazing or whatever. So if you're seeing thumbnails of videos discussing that information with those words in it, I wouldn't be too excited, because it's neither amazing nor insane nor anything else in that category. It's just information. It's nice to have, but it's nothing that blows me away, really. But we're still gonna talk about it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I'm really excited for the game still, and that information certainly adds to that excitement, but not much. So let's have a look at it. So the first thing they talk about in this short video is the inspiration for Starfield. So what inspired them to make this game, or what inspiration they had for the gameplay elements and gameplay mechanics they put in there. So Todd Howard mentions a game called SunDog, which is a 1984 space trading and combat simulator video game that was first developed for Apple II and then later also released on Atari. So it's probably kind of similar in the sense that you can fly around in a spaceship, that you can land on planets, and that you have missions and quests and stuff to do. But other than that, I don't really know much about the game. It does have a Wikipedia page that is not really that, how shall I put it, extensive. But it has a few informations on it. You can also find downloadable versions of the game. I don't know if you can get them to run on your system, but there's also a Let's Play on YouTube by Quill18, so if you're really interested in the game, you can go and watch that. I will link all the information I've found in the description, so if you're interested in the game, go and have a look at it. Yeah, it might be actually worthwhile. And then the other one he mentioned was a pen and paper game called Traveler. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what a pen and paper game is, obviously, but I never played one, so I can't really talk about that much. And I certainly haven't heard of Traveler at any point, so I don't know what that is, and I didn't really research it. So if you're interested in what Traveler is and how it might have inspired Starfield, you can go have a look at it. You certainly will find something on Google if you want to search for it, but yeah, I'm not so interested in pen and paper stuff, so I didn't go into the depth there. But yeah, I'll probably have a look at SunDog. That sounds pretty interesting, and I'm always one who likes to have a look at classic games. Yeah. Then next, what they talked about is the realism in the game. So is it hard sci-fi? Is it soft sci-fi? Whatever. Is it more fantasy? So he talks about that they really wanted to make as much hard sci-fi as they could, but keeping it fun and not letting realism get in the way of, basically making the game frustrating or hard or anything like that. So one example he cites is the fuel system they had. So basically, originally, the fuel would run out. So if you were in space and you wouldn't pay attention to your fuel supply, you would basically just run out of fuel in the middle of space, and you would have no way to basically continue playing. It's the way he described it. So while that would be realistic, I can totally see that wouldn't be fun. So they changed that around, apparently, to now have a system where the fuel just says how far can you jump. So you will not run out of fuel, but it will limit your jump range or something like that. So I'm very interested in seeing how that works. Mechanics like that are something that, well, tend to bother me if they're not done right. I do like realism in games, and for many games that I have played or that I am playing, I have looked for realism enhancing mods, or even did some myself to enhance the realism, even to the point where it might get frustrating if you don't pay attention to stuff. So I actually liked, and of course I don't want to be marooned in space because of lack of fuel, so there has to be a workaround for that. But one could be that your ship would then just be very slow, like on reserve energy or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, whatever they do, if it's not good, there will be possibilities to mod that. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it's interesting that they talk about that. So as far as I understand it, really, it's just they try to make it as realistic as possible without impeding the fun of the game. So I'm really interested to see how that turned out. I certainly love myself some hard sci-fi, so I hope they kept as much realism in there as possible, certainly. So yeah, that's that. The next thing they talked about was the trades that we get. So I'm really happy to say that we get trades. We saw that in the last video already, that we get them, and I really think trades are a great thing to add to a role-playing game, in addition to perks and attributes and skills and whatnot. So your basic trade system, as we have it here, is really just you get a bonus, but you also get some penalty from each trade. And what I find interesting is he said that if you're not happy with the trade you selected at the beginning of the game, there is a system in place to get rid of that trade. It's like a short quest or something that you have to do to get rid of it. So you can't just select and pay something and you're rid of it. You have to actually put in some time and some effort to get rid of it, which is fine with me. I usually don't like respecking. Yeah, if you make choices in a RPG, well, you have to stick with those choices. It's the same in life. I mean, if you make choices and they turn out to be bad, well, that's life. You have to live with it. I would argue that the same should be true in RPG games, because in RPG I want to play a character, I want to immerse myself in that character, and I want a character that also has drawbacks and bad sides and stuff, so and limitations. So I don't want to be able to respec. But yeah, if it comes with effort, why not? I mean, in real life you might get traits of your own that are not too favorable, and you can work on them. You can try to get rid of the bad side effects or something like that. So you can try to do that in real life. So why not put in some effort in the game to try to get rid of it? That might be a good thing. So again, this is something I need to play around with, or need to see how exactly it is implemented before I can really judge it. It can go either way. I'm certainly not for respecking, but if it's done in an immersive way that makes sense and that actually requires some player effort, I'm okay with it, I guess. But let's have a look at the few traits we can see here. So the first trait we get a look at here is a Dream Home, which is a trait we already had in the first video. It was, I think, called differently then, or at least it was worded differently, and it was on a moon, not on a peaceful planet, as it says here. So you own a luxurious customizable house on a peaceful planet. Unfortunately, it comes with a 50,000 credit mortgage with Gold Bank that has to be paid weekly. Now, I don't know if I want to call this a trait. I mean, I think you can pay back this mortgage eventually. So then you have a house and you have paid the mortgage, and the trade is basically useless beyond that. So I'm not sure if I want to call this a trade. I'm not sure I will pick that. Probably not, because I like to work for my stuff. I don't want to start with a home already in place. And certainly don't want to start with debt. So yeah, I probably will not take that one. So the next one we get is Empath. You are deeply connected to the feelings of others. Performing actions your companion likes will result in temporary increase in combat effectiveness, but performing actions they don't like will have the precise opposite effect. So that's for everyone who likes to travel with companions, which is not me. So I probably will not use that trait, but certainly interesting if you always have a companion with you. Then we have the extrovert. You're a people person. Exerting yourself uses less oxygen when adventuring with human companions, but more when adventuring alone. yeah, and this seems to be another one for people with who love companions and always have them with them. So yeah, also not something I will use probably. Then we have 3-star collective settler. You gain access to special 3-star collective dialogue options and better rewards from submissions given by the faction, but crime bounty towards other factions is greatly increased. Can't be combined with any other faction allegiance trait. So this is a faction allegiance trait. If you really want to go into the role-playing and align yourself with a faction, that probably is fine, but I never like these kinds of traits because I usually don't align myself too much with any faction, because I want to be like the Lone Ranger or something like that. So yeah, but certainly an interesting trait if you really want to go into the role-playing stuff. Then we have hero worship. You've earned the attention of an annoying, adoring fan who will show up randomly and jabber at you incessantly. On the plus side, he'll give you gifts. So the adoring fan is something from, I guess, one of the Elder Scrolls games. Was it Morrowind or was it Oblivion? I'm not really sure, but there was an adoring fan somewhere who was really annoying in one of these games, and I think that's harking back to that character here. So a little bit of an insider. Then we have the introvert. You really need your alone time. You have more endurance when adventuring alone, but less when adventuring with other human companions. So that's the opposite of extrovert. Yeah, that's probably something I might take, because yeah, I like adventuring alone in these games. So yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Then we have kid stuff. Your parents are alive and well. You can visit them at their home, but 10% of all the money you earn is deducted automatically and sent to them. That really is just, I don't know how to call it. That's a flavor trait, or I don't know. I mean, it's just, yeah, you have parents you can visit. You probably have some dialogue with them. Maybe you even get a quest that you can do for them. I don't know. That's certainly nice if you really want to roleplay and be immersed in the game and like have a second life there. But I don't know. I don't think that's something I will take. But yeah, it sounds interesting. So why not? Then you have the Neon Street Rat. You grew up on the mean streets of Neon. You gain access to special dialogue options and better rewards from some missions on Neon. Crime bounty by other factions greatly increased. So this is another faction-specific allegiance trait here. Again, I don't think these are really that interesting, but yeah, why not? If you really want to craft a background for your character and be like the Neon Street Rat, you can do that. I mean, why not? Then this is a religious trait here. You grew up as a member of the Enlightened. You gain access to a special chest full of items in the House of the Enlightened in New Atlantis, but lose access to the Sanctum Universum chest. Can be combined with any other religion trait. So yeah, a religion trait here if you want to belong to those guys. Yeah, again, I don't know. It's a faction trait. I will play the game until I know all the factions and the place and stuff. Maybe if there's a really interesting faction in there, a really interesting place I want to align myself to, maybe I'll go back and do a restart with one of these traits. But at the end of the day, I'll probably just get traits that are more generalized and will help me no matter what I do or who I align with and where I am at the moment. So probably do it like more like that. Okay. Then we have Raised Universal. You grew up as a member of the Sanctum Universum. You gain access to a special chest full of items in the Sanctum Universum in New Atlantis, but lose access to the House of the Enlightened chest. So this is the opposite trait to the one before. So another religious trait, and then I think the Serpent's Embrace under that is another one. So we get a total of 3 traits we can pick. All of these seem to be optional, so we don't have to if we don't want to. Yeah, that's all the traits we got. So then he talks about the dialogue systems, especially Persuasion. So apparently what he also says, is that this game, while in terms of main quest and length, it's just a little bit bigger than the games they did before. apparently it has much more depth in dialogue, much more dialogue options, much more dialogue depth with the characters you can speak with. So basically what he says is they had 60,000 lines of dialogue in Skyrim, and Skyrim is massive, okay? But they had almost double that in Fallout 4, and yeah, Fallout 4, I'm over, I don't know, 300 hours in that game. I'm certainly still haven't heard every dialogue that there is. So yeah, Fallout 4 has an insane amount of dialogue. And then Starfield apparently has 252 or 253,000 lines of dialogue already, and apparently they're still adding to that. So we have 60,000 in Skyrim, we have 111,000 in Fallout 4, and now 253,000 and counting in Starfield. Now this is really amazing. This is the one thing I would call crazy or amazing or insane or whatever, because this is nuts. Okay, this is a lot of dialogue, and as he said, it's not mainly just because there's a bigger main story or because there are more side quests or bigger side quests. It's mostly because they have a much more in-depth dialogue system, according to Tonor. We'll have to see that, of course. But then he goes on and talks a little bit about the Persuasion, which is a new minigame. Finally, it's no longer just, I don't know, click an option, and if you're how shall I put it? If your skill is high enough, you get the result. Now it's a mini game again, and I think it's interesting in the sense that you now have to spend points. How many points you can spend is probably based on your persuasion skill. What you can see in the video here is that you have options for +1, +3, +4, and +5 points that you can spend. And you apparently have 4 points to spend in this scenario here, as you can see at the bottom beneath the dialogue option. So the +5 wouldn't even be possible here, and if you would use the +4, you would spend all your points right away. So I'm not really sure how that will work in detail. If you need to spend as much points as possible, or if you need several attempts, so basically you have to save some points for later. As you can see here, he actually selects the option for 3 points, which he then spends. So I don't know how that exactly will work, and you have a limited number of turns, as you can also see. So I really like it as far as it looks in the video, well, the way it looks in the video. I really like that, because I think if this is done right and if it works well, it might be a good system. It might be a good minigame that is enjoyable, and yeah, makes dialogue and conversations actually interesting. I really missed stuff like that in Fallout 4. I can't say much about Skyrim because I still haven't gotten around to play that, but yeah, it certainly looks interesting to me, and yeah, I'm looking forward to engage with this system. And yeah, that's basically it. That's all the information we got. So it's really nothing to write home about. So we have a persuasion minigame, which is certainly cool to have. I'm really happy they put that in there, and I'm really looking forward to using that. I like that they tried to insert realism in the game where possible. Now, of course, knowing me, I will probably disagree on some stuff they did, and be of the opinion that they could have done or could have put in even more realism. I'm pretty sure that will be the case. But yeah, it's still good to hear that. The traits, I don't know. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing the whole list of traits. I really want to see the whole list of traits. I want to see the whole list of skills and perks and whatnot. I really want to see that stuff to form an opinion on it. I mean, there's usually some interesting things there, but I'm also looking forward to play around with that stuff when we have the creation kit to mod the game, because I really like playing around with perks and traits and stuff, and adding new effects and balancing stuff out and stuff, and even making new perks and traits and stuff. So really looking forward to that, to play around with that. But I also think from what I've seen so far, I think they have a good system in place there. So we'll see how it turns out, and I hope we'll get more information before we actually get the hands on this game, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, I hope we'll get more information before that, and if it's becoming available, I will talk about it on the channel. I hope I see you then. Yeah, and if you like this video, please leave a like below, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, and yeah, be back next time. Until then, I wish you all the best, have a great time, be safe, stay healthy, bye!